Is 8 News Now at 6.
Dozens of armed federal officers are preparing for a showdown with a Nevada cattle rancher regarded by some as an outlaw, a hero by others.
Rangers and agents from several federal agencies have surrounded a 600,000-acre section of public land and are preparing to move against rancher Cliven Bundy, whose cattle have been grazing illegally, they say, for the past 20 years. George Knapp of the I-Team visited the Bundy Ranch this week and has that story.
This is the freedom that we have in America right here. We're going to have our freedom inside of that fence there.
Bunkerville rancher Cliven Bundy thinks the federal government has gone too far in preparing to round up his cattle. Example, this is one of 2 designated spots where the public will be allowed to protest the roundup. A sign inside the fence shows how some people feel about a First Amendment zone. And during our tour with Bundy, a passerby stopped to offer encouragement.
I'm one of your neighbors. I get to look at that every day in my life. Hang in there, my friend.
Thank you.
Miles away, just off the interstate, another fenced area is where media are allowed. Armed agents in trucks form a wall to prevent anyone from approaching what resembles a military staging area, the heart of the Bundy Roundup operation. More rangers sit at every road leading into the 600,000-acre Gold Butte area to prevent the general public from coming in.
With all of these rangers and all this force that's out here, they're only after one man right now. Who do you think they're after? They're after Cliven Bundy. Whether they want to incarcerate me or whether they want me to shoot me in the back, they're after me. But that's not all that's at stake here. Your liberty and freedoms are at stake.
Bundy's had a long time to sharpen his message. The fight has been building since 1993, when BLM changed grazing rules for Gold Butte to protect the endangered desert tortoise. Bundy refused to go along and stopped paying his fees altogether. Since then, the BLM and federal courts have ordered him to stop letting his cattle roam through Gold Butte, and he's ignored the orders because he doesn't recognize federal authority over the land.
My forefathers have been up and down the Virgin Valley here ever since 1877. All of these rights that I claim have been created through preemptive rights and beneficial use of the forage and the water. I have been here longer, and my rights are all older than BLM even existed.
The Bundy family was already ranching here long before the Department of Interior was born and long before tortoises were protected. But federal courts say he doesn't have a legal leg to stand on. BLM has long sidestepped the fight, in part because of concerns what might happen if it tried to round up his 500 or so cattle that even now are grazing on forbidden public lands. Bundy says he's always been willing to pay fees, but not if it helps to cut his own throat.
I don't have no problem with that. I've tried to pay it to Nevada State, Clark County, and they've got some of my money in their coffers right now from but I'm not going to pay my money to the wrong landlord, and I'm not going to pay my money to BLM to manage me out of business. The federal government has seized Nevada sovereignty, Nevada statehood. They've seized Nevada laws, and they've seized our public land. We have no access to our public land.
Critics say Bundy's being arrogant and that his cattle have caused irreparable harm to Gold Butte's fragile environment. Environmentalists forced BLM's hand by threatening to sue in federal court. The Bureau will pay nearly $1 million to a private contractor to round up Bundy's cows. But with dozens of government agents positioned all around the area for what might take weeks or months, the true cost could be much higher. Bundy's cowhands have time to kill these days because they're prohibited from heading out to work their cattle. And soon enough, there could be no cattle left. The BLM plans to sell off Bundy's herd. Bundy stopped short of saying how far he's willing to take it.
Well, I've fought this thing legally. I've fought it politically. I've fought it through the media. And I will fight it on the ground if I have to.
George Knapp.
And then, this is where it really gets rough, okay? This is where it goes way the hell beyond Clive Bundy. They can throw an army of men around there, literally, with sniper rifles, on guys just like you are, on people just like you are, men, women, children, just like you are, okay? Out there who believe they have a right to be there, okay? Maybe you believe in some other place that you believe you could be there. And someday, they're gonna throw that army of men around you.
Amen.
And then, these guys somehow they feel like they got the right, they can drop a damn tripod in the ground and set a sniper rifle on it. So if you cross the line, they can put a bullet in you.
Not in our country.
Who the hell is the man behind that trigger? I want to know. I want to know the BLM. Who in the hell? Which one of you guys gives that guy the authority to throw that rifle down? And when he does, which one of us is he going to shoot? Good God, didn't he grow up in this country? Are we going to give it up? Okay, this is a hell of a lot bigger than Clive Bundy. All right?
To a supervisor. Sir, could I speak with a supervisor?
Don't do it, dude. Get back! Please, get back! Get back now!
Just see a woman on the ground.
Back up! Back up! Back up! I'm pregnant! You let that go! Get back! We're not leaving! We're not leaving! Hiding behind their car, barking orders, but don't keep them saying we're not leaving. We're not leaving! I'm unarmed! You're gonna have to arrest us all or shoot us all!
The crowd is now moving forward toward the barrier. The police have been telling everybody they are going to shoot if we don't move back. People are moving forward with their hands in the air, holding flags with both hands in the air. It's a mixture of people on foot, as you can see, people on foot and cowboys.
Find a piece of resolution to this. Don't escalate down here. Another time to talk upstairs with Metro. All right, push these people back up off the gate. Push them back up off the gate. We're going to work to release these cattle. Listen to me. I'm going to work with you. I'm going to work with you, but I need you to back them up.
I understand what you're doing, and you will get that time.
Okay.
We're not playing
I know, I get that. But can we push them back up off the gate for right now? Let me work with you and you. I'll allow you two to come in with me. You come with me, Metro. You're not getting arrested. You got my word that no one's taking you custody. If you want to stay there, that's great. They're getting your dad on top.
Do your thing.
No, they're getting your dad on top.
We'll make sure that
And your dad's going to need some help if they decide that they're going to pull those pins. But it's only going to be Bundy and his son. That's it.
It's the people or not, and you guys need to leave.
Okay.
You need to leave. That's the
and I'm telling you, you need to de-escalate the situation.
No,
I'm
you need
imploring
to
upon you your responsibility to de-escalate.
Listen.
Hey, listen.
You are on Nevada State property.
Okay,
And it's time for you. No,
there's a
the
time
time
for
is now.
We're doing that.
No, the
but
time
you need
is
to push
now.
these people back so they can do it safely. Push them back so they can do it
You
safely.
leave. We respect your authority as county officers.
don't turn your back on us, you big boys with those big guns on you. Oh, you're so tough. You're so afraid. Look at that. What a bunch of bullies. Oh, wow. You got control back on the rock.
Our top story tonight, calm on the range. Just hours after armed protesters went face-to-face with armed BLM Rangers, there is little sign of the heated showdown that's been taking place for the last week in Bunkerville. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Don Guevara. Well, yesterday, the Bureau of Land Management stopped rounding up cattle that rancher Cliven Bundy has been grazing on federally managed land for years. The showdown was over grazing fees he owes the government, but quickly escalated into a fight over rights. Action News reporter Brian Callahan was there yesterday when the government handed over his cattle and is back in Bunkerville tonight, where it's a much calmer scene. Brian.
Yeah, Don, as you can see behind me, there are just a few supporters left here at the main protest site. And while this crowd is just a fraction of the size it was 24 hours ago, those that remain say they don't believe the battle is done.
We just packed up and left, so, you know, as long as we can, we're going to be here in support. It's a numbers game, and the people standing up for their rights.
24 hours after the Bundy's family cattle were returned by the BLM, the crowds have headed home with the feeling that the West has now been won. The Bundy family themselves are resting because of the Sabbath day, and they're resting because went through this week-long ordeal. Their home is still being guarded by those militiamen that came in to support them, and those men say they have no plans to leave until the battle is over, and the Bundys say they don't know when that will be. If you have peace for, a week, 2 weeks, that you would ask the militia to leave and, give your family some quiet again, or?
Well, I don't want to go into that any further because, we're very grateful the militia's been here. And, all I can see is good coming from them.
And the Bundy family says they are looking forward to getting back out onto the ranch to check on the health of the cattle that were released, but they say they still don't have a good count on the number of cattle released by the BLM. Reporting live near Bunkerville, Brian Callahan, Channel 13 Action News.
Brian, thank you. We'll be sure to stay with Action News for the latest on the showdown on the range.